Is this on? Yes, it is. So, good afternoon. I hope you all had enjoyed your lunch so far. If you had it, if not, great that you stopped by before doing this. I think we have something really interesting to tell you. With me on stage is the Guild Wars 1 live team. So I will let them introduce themselves and let them talk a little bit about who they are and what the hell they are doing. And we will ask them a couple of questions, and then we open up the questions to the audience. So if you have any questions about Guild Wars 1, this is Guild Wars 1, so no Guild Wars 2 questions. If you have any questions about Guild Wars 1, feel free to shoot at the questions at those guys. So why don't we, I think we just start with the new guy right over there. So Robert, why don't you let people know who you are, what you're doing, and it takes a while.
Hello? Oh. Hi, I'm Robert G. I am the new live team designer. I just started last month. It's been really exciting. I've been getting to work a lot on Guild Wars, and I've been playing it, pretty much since the beta weekend events. So, it's been really exciting. Got a lot of really cool things I've gotten to work on. Gotten to see a lot of the inner workings of Guild Wars. And it's been really exciting because I used to be a fan, just a little while ago.
So next in line is actually our lead designer for Guild Wars 1, Linsey Murdock. Linsey.
Hi, I'm Linsey Murdock. I'm leading the design for Guild Wars 1. That means with Mike and Joe, we plan out, and Robert now, plan out all the updates that go into Guild Wars 1 and the content that's coming up. I've been working on Guild Wars for over 3 years now, so it's a fun job.
So next we have Joe Kimmis. We usually refer to him as the ninja. He's like our coder guy. So Joe.
All right. Okay, that's good and loud. Okay, I'm Joe Kimmis. I'm the programmer for the Guild Wars Live team. So my job is basically taking all of the stuff that these two design and put it into the game. So I've been working at ArenaNet since work started on Guild Wars Nightfall. So I worked on Nightfall, Eye of the North, and the bonus mission pack before the live team started.
Try scooting back a little bit.
Yeah, I think Joe is in the wrong position. Last in line is Mike Zadorojny. He's our QA lead and Guild Wars Live producer. So Mike, why don't you say hello to the people?
Hey everybody. So my job pretty much is to take all the amazing ideas that the designers come up with and figure out how we're actually going to be able to do it, and fit it into a schedule so that the artist can work with it, and that Joe can actually find time to actually get it done for us.
That mic was lit. Okay, could you hear that? Could you hear him? I think if you guys share Linsey's microphone, I think that's that's the one that is has the best audio. So, right, Linsey. A lot of people, we read the boards all the time. We check what people are. A lot of people are interested. What's coming up for Guild Wars? You had your massive text wall of doom on your wiki page, lining out what's in store for Guild Wars 1. Want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Right now, what we're working on is sort of tying up all these loose ends. We've had this big, long list of projects that we want to work on, and a list of projects that have been worked on for Guild Wars 1 before everybody moved on to Guild Wars 2. And so we've been just sort of eating away at that list, bite sizes here and there, trying to get down all these lists of things that we've had just piled up that we really want to get done. So we're working on that now for the rest of the year. Hopefully we can get a lot of that stuff taken care of, and we can just start pushing Guild Wars into the future next year.
Robert, like I said, you were the new guy. It's probably interesting for a couple of people because you made the transition from player actually to be working on the game that you played and loved. So, how does this happen, and how does it feel actually, for switching from the player side to the developer side?
Well, first of all, I think there's a transition when you go from being a player in general to being a game developer, and that happened for me when I got into the game industry. a little while ago. But it's kind of a different feeling going from being a player of a game you're really into and you've played for this long, and then you get to develop it. You get to see you get to look under the hood basically, and you can see a lot of the things that you didn't realize or the things that you did realize. I mean, it was really fun for me because back in early Guild Wars, before we had things like the Isle of the Nameless, like I do things like we'd sync in team arenas and test out game mechanics. Like, for example, hey, does empathy trigger once or twice on dual shot? And stuff like that. And so it's really exciting for me to be able to do that kind of thing and actually have access to that kind of data now. And so I can kind of really, it's really fun to just examine the mechanics and see these things from an insider's perspective.
Joe, Linsey is always coming up with these crazy ideas she has in her mind, and then she basically throws them at you. What is it? Is it a piece of cake? At Linsey comes with ideas oh yeah, sure. I code it in 2 minutes, or is what is the process behind actually the game designer comes to you and says hey, I have this cool idea. Can we do it? And how it actually ends up in code?
Well, so usually what happens is either am I just sitting in the wrong place? Usually what happens is that when a designer comes to me with a design, either it's something that's already been done in the game, like it's a variant of a skill or another quest that you have to go kill things for, and that I can just say, okay, yeah, this will take me 3 days, 1 day, a week. Sometimes I get something that hasn't been done in the game yet, like last April we added the equipment bag, and so then it would take me several days of figuring out, can this actually be done in Guild Wars 1? Because there are some things that the engine just isn't going to support no matter how hard you try.
A little bit more on that, though. The thing that we've always discovered is that Linsey will say, hey, this is a really cool thing I want to do, like the equipment bag. And it's always a crazy idea. And less than 2 days later, we'll get an email from Joe saying it's in the next build on dev.
Yeah, so actually Joe makes stuff happen that is not supposed to happen, I think. At least that's what I get sometimes. Mike, what do you actually do? Right, just maybe explain a little bit. That's producer. What do you actually do?
So I'm in charge of making sure that we actually have a schedule and that we're trying to follow it, making sure that various deadlines that need to take place before a build can get out, like localization, working with the artists to make sure that if we're going to do, for instance, upcoming with our festivals that we're coming up with, the Halloween masks are something we always do every year. So working with the artists to make sure that we have a theme, that they're following Linsey's kind of idea of what she wants to see for this to happen, making sure that QA gets it on time, that they have enough time to take a look at things, test them out, make sure it works. And then I also get the odd request, because I'm also the contact for the support team. So if the GMs have an issue or if they have a request on something that we can do that either explains something that we haven't done very well or answers questions that common players have been having, that we find a solution that works for everybody.
Okay, they told us a little bit about themselves and what they do, so I think I opened the floor up for questions from the audience if you people have questions. Is there anyone who has a question for the live team in general, for certain people? I just come over there.